Imagine you travel half a way around the world, and you have no way of reaching or communicating with your family. If it were not for the globalization of the world, this would be a major issue. The simple definition of globalization is the interweaving of markets, technology, information systems, and telecommunication systems in a way that is shrinking the world from a size medium to a size small, and enabling each of us to reach around the world farther, faster, deeper, and cheaper than ever before. Many events in the 19th and 20th century played a large role in the flattening of the world, or connecting and creating relationships to internationally gain access to ideas. Historical periods of transformation, such as the Industrial Revolution, the Interwar period, World Wars I and II, and the Great War, through movements of nationalism and a strong desire and need for change, are all examples of major events that strongly contributed to the process of the flattening and globalization of the world.
When the phone bush turns white, that's when I'll come home. I'm going out to see what
The Industrial Revolution was a time period that brought many exciting changes and drastically altered human culture as a whole. The Industrial Revolution, in many ways, contributed to the flattening and globalization of the world by creating greater opportunities throughout Europe. The first way in which it leveled the playing field was the new forms of transportation, which allowed easier communication. Similarly, the invention of the telegraph, a machine that essentially translated messages sent by electric signals over wires from location to location, was another way in which the Industrial Revolution provided greater opportunities across Europe. As Friedman explains in his book, How the World Became Flat, global integration was powered by falling transportation costs, thanks to the steam engine and the railroad, and by falling telecommunication costs. During his time, much advancement was made that leveled the playing field. This is due to the fact that the revolution was a time period in which Europe experienced an explosion of technological knowledge and a drastic change in production and labor.
In the late 1700s, most people worked in the fields, on land they did not own. Those who owned the land, called aristocrats, lived refined lives in elegant manor houses. Servants raised their children and did their housework. The landowners and the people who worked for them depended upon each other. It was a system that had existed for centuries. In towns across England and the United States, a series of extraordinary innovations would alter the way people lived and worked for the next 150 years. Inventors had found new ways to harness nature's energy. They built new kinds of machines, powered by water, steam, and coal. The new machines replaced hand-powered tools. They did the same work, only cheaper and faster. Much of the work was done outside the home, in specially designed buildings, the first factories. Mechanization began in the textile mills of England, where one machine attached to a spinning wheel could do the work of 50 people. Fuel, clothing, and food all became more affordable. With the development of locomotives and steamboats, manufactured goods could now be sold halfway around the world. Families moved from the villages of their ancestors to new industrial towns. And a new class of people emerged, workers who produced goods. Industrialists, the people who owned the factories, employed hundreds, sometimes thousands of people. And they made enormous profits in their industrial centers. Today, we are in the middle of another revolution, a technological revolution. We live in what's called the global village, because we can connect with people around the world as if they lived next door. And we can now work anytime and anywhere. We will have to wait and see where this new revolution leads.
Similarly, nationalism and Zionism both greatly contributed in shrinking the world from a size medium to a size small. Because nationalism is a patriotic pride towards one's country, it acts as a unifying force, which creates strong bonds and powerful connections between groups of people that share common beliefs. Liberal nationalism brought together groups of people and allowed them to be based upon a people rather than by imperial domination.
These hands are meant to hold.
As a result, communication between people came with more ease, similarly to the improvement in the sharing of new and advancing ideas, and ultimately the playing field was being leveled. Zionism is one specific form of nationalism. Zionism, which is the belief in the existence of the Jewish state, also contributed to the flattening of the world. This is because it allowed Jews to unite as a group and establish a land of their own. Also, because Zionism led to the creation of a Jewish homeland, the Jews were able to experience freedom and act as an example to all mankind. Another major promoter of the process in which led to globalization was the movement of imperialism. Imperialism is simply the act of colonizing a land that doesn't belong to you, making it a territory of your land, or establishing dominance over another nation. Within the movements of imperialism and colonization, the belief in a new racial hierarchy developed, which led certain races to believe that they were superior to the others, and that they had authority over them. Based upon this theory, for example, Europeans believed that they were above the others, that they were able to lead successful lives, and that it was their duty to spread the results of their success and progress with other countries that were lacking progress in science and technology. Another key motivation for European imperialism was the determination of countries to conquer as many colonies as possible in an act of showing their amount of national pride. With the belief that they were the superior race and with their sense of national pride, Europeans were successful in colonizing and expanding their rule over other colonies. Eventually, this allowed the growth of globalization and played a large part in shrinking the world from a size medium to a size small. In a separate manner, World Wars I and II, as well as the interwar period, were surprisingly all strong contributors to the globalization of the world. Although during the actual wars themselves, globalization was delayed and was a hindrance upon the flattening of the world, as a result of all of these wars, countries were left bankrupt and in ruins. Waiting ahead of them were many years of economic struggle, burdened with heavy reparation payments, as well as other economic problems, and a yearning to find a strong and successful form of government. Due to all the damage caused by these wars, many became hungry for change. After experiencing life following the war, many countries were encouraged and inspired to take action to revive their country and economy. This eventually led to the creation of new techniques and technology that would allow countries to earn more money in a shorter amount of time, such as James Watt's invention of the steam engine, an extremely helpful source of energy that severely improved production, provided greater opportunities for the countries facing harsh economic issues. Because of the creation of new and helpful technology, the world was set on the fast tracks to shrinking from a size medium to a size small.
This is the face of Germany, 1945. It is a face scarred by war, aged by suffering, ravaged by disillusion and defeat. This is the face of West Germany today. Restored by hope, revitalized through dedication, recarved in the image of freedom.
Without the occurrences of all of these events, as well as the various movements that emerged from within them, the globalization and flattening of the world would not have been possible, nor would there be existence of the advanced technological privileges that we have in the world today.
You're standing at my door. Guess this means you take back all you said before. Like how much you want it.